Right, let's get set up. I forgot what I've got to do now. Videos. No, YouTube Studio. YouTube Studio videos. Now will it show me I'm live here? Hello. Now I need to try and get to the place where I can see where I'm live. There we go. Look, we can see that now. So now I should. No, I can't. Let's go back again. I may have to just look at the screen up top. How's everybody on a really boring Saturday afternoon? I am so fed up of being stuck in now, and I've only had one day at home. I think I'm used to constantly being working. Hang on, I can't quite see. You're up on my phone on top of the telly at the minute, and you're a bit too far away from me. I'm trying to get to seeing it on my screen, and there we go. There we go. Right, okay. You're going to buy a 146 Ti, Ricer Alpha. Go for it, that's what I say. I do love the 145s and the 146s. Hello to Germany. Hang on, it's going. Hello Lee, you're right, are you, mate? That's right. I've got to try and catch up with all these comments now. I didn't expect to see so many people straight away. Right, yeah. Hello Warwickshire, and Croatia, and Finland. Yeah, I've had a few gins, Mark, this afternoon. I have got some backups ready just in case. I realised what I was doing wrong last time. I was doing a private live broadcast, so that's why nobody could see me. And I've figured it out now, so I'm all happy now. So, I thought I'd come on and we can talk everything Alpha, general chit chat, introduce yourselves to me, tell me what you like doing other than Alphas. I do see a lot of names pop up in the comments all the time, and I appreciate all those people that have been with me from the start. Hi, Nils Holt. Of course I'm drinking, Lee. What else should I be doing? It's a Saturday afternoon and you can't go outside. I had my exercise at 9 o'clock this morning walking the dog. Mito 1.6 diesel. Yeah, they're alright. I'd go for a 1.4 multi-air. As long as the multi-air unit's okay, they're a lot more fun to drive. But the 1.6 diesel does get really good economy. 42 people, I'm doing quite pleased. I was expecting to sit here on my own with nobody watching. Yes, Craig, I have to keep the unit open because technically I'm an essential business. But I work on my own anyway, so I don't see anybody during the week anyway. Customers come pick up the cars, and that's about it. I am practicing sort of safe distancing. Customer come drop the car off the other day, got in with me degermer, sprayed all the inside of the car, and it was all fine. He come and picked his car. He paid via the card machine, cleaned the card machine down. No issues at all. Show us the doggo. You want to see Sadie? Sadie, come say hello. You can't. Come on up here. Here you go. Come on, up. Up. This is Sadie, lady. And she likes lots of fuss, constant fuss. Go on then. 1598 valves, don't really see them in the UK, so can't really comment on them. Yeah, I do love me Labradors. They are my favourite type of dog. Cheers, Michael. I've just been editing the episode for Tuesday. I am going to be doing another video on the GTV restoration. Thank you, Makailo. Sorry if I get your names wrong. Anybody know what seat this is from I'm sitting in? Nice one, Jake. Glad you're addicted. Quite a few people are. No, it's out of a GT 3.2 V6. It's the first V6 I bought to break, and it was an absolute dog. It looked as though it had literally leapt over an island, a traffic island, and all the underside was smashed to smithereens. The sump had been ripped off, half the pistons were hanging out of it. But the only thing I could say from it was the passenger seat, and I thought, I'll use that as a car seat, and I've probably had this getting on for 9 years now. Have I come across an 8C? No, I haven't. Well, I've seen them in the flesh, and I've drove past a few, but never had the joys of sitting in one. I did have the joys of sitting in a 4C a few months ago. Yes, it would look great in your garage, Grumpy Old Racer, but it's all mine, and one day I will get round to repairing the 155. It's all ready to go. I've done all the mechanics on it. He's actually probably due another cam belt now because it's been 4 years. So I shall be getting that out eventually. Technically, I'm waiting for the values to shoot up, and then it was something worthwhile restoring. But as of now, I have restored all the underside. It runs perfectly. It's got a few aftermarket 90s disgusting steering wheel on it, so I do need to get some standard stuff over. She's tired, bless her. She went for a long walk this morning, and the kids have been playing with her, so she does need to lie down. And I forget who it was that said that then. How many cars have I painted so far? I think I'm probably on about my 5th, so it's something I've picked up and got used to it quite quickly. It's very therapeutic when you're painting. That's Conrad M who said that. Yes, my dog is staring at the wall. She's tired. Hello, Demir. I personally wouldn't mess with DPFs anymore because most countries are going to be checking for them on their annual inspections, so don't delete a DPF. My car, when I accelerate to a stop and release. There we go. I'm alive again. Wait for you all to come back now. I'll just pop them all up again. There we go. Right, whistling from the intake pipe. You've either got an air leak or your turbo's starting to go. That's quite simple, that one. Am I still here? I don't know. Everybody's gone quiet. Oh, dog's been woke up now. Good, yeah, sorry, somebody rang me, I didn't know whether it would disconnect or not. We're taking the exhaust manifold off on the 2.4 diesel. Gold. It's been a long time since I've even worked on one of those. Nothing really. Just take it off, make sure it's not cracked. They do, if I remember rightly, they can crack. Hi to just some guy in Ireland. Common cause for oil leaks on a GT V6. The seal on the front of the crank can leak, and also the rocker cover gaskets and the oil dipstick can leak from there. And they're the 3 main bits I can think of. No, I haven't been to the Alfa Romeo museum in Milan. I would like to go there one day. Unfortunately, no, I only speak English. That is one of the problems with us Britons. We tend to only speak one language. One engine, the Brera. Personally, I wouldn't have made the Brera. That's my honest opinion. They're far too heavy and un-Alfa-like. Yes, they look like an Alfa, but they're not really an Alfa as such. Should you replace the EGR cooler cover air CP when getting a diesel Giulietta? No, I never replace them when they're leaking. There's no upgrade for them or anything like that, so when they leak, change it. No, the Breras aren't that bad. When they first came out, I wasn't a fan. Then I've done a few up over the last few years, and I have developed a little bit of a soft spot for them. But yes, the Brera is far too heavy to be considered a coupe or a sports car. That is the problem with it. They should have gone a little further with the GT, because that was a really good seller for Alfa. They should have done a cabriolet. They should have modernised the engines, maybe give it a facelift like they did with the 147. But they never did. They moved on to the Brera. 159s, I would say only buy the diesel engines. I'm not a fan of the JTSs or the MPI engines, just purely for the fact there's not many of them out there with the MPIs anyway. I think the dog wants to go back in the house, but she'll have to wait. Thoughts on the 166 and the 164? I have very little thoughts on the 164 because I've never really touched one. 166, not a massive fan. They were never the greatest, but then again, any large saloon car from the 90s wasn't very good anyway. I can't really think of one decent one. No, I haven't worked on the Giulietta, as I basically do restoration and repairs. I only tend to see the older cars generally. I do see some Giuliettas and stuff like that, and plenty of 159s, but nothing on the new side of things. Favourite Alfa engine? It's got to be the Buzzo. That's the only one that I think is worth it. The Twin Spark is a great engine. It soldiers on for so many years in Alfa cars. It did well. Will the GT become a classic? It's very difficult to say with Alfa Romeos. 90s Fords, Ford Escorts, they're becoming classics now, and their values are starting to rise. There's been a few Alfas which have gone up in value. The GTV Cups have gone up, but the 155s haven't. The GTVs haven't particularly gone up other than the Cups. So yeah, it's one of those things where I think Alfas are still in limbo when it comes to value of the 80s and 90s cars. Never really messed with the 1.7 boxer engine either. Never really seen them much in the UK. It was before my time when I started messing with cars. Stephen Edel, your fault with the VDC could be down to a bad battery. I would change your battery first, or at least put a fresh battery on and see if it does it then, because 159s and Mitos do like decent batteries. There you go, the dog's been allowed in now. What do you do with Overtalk? You can drill them and retap them. If you are extremely lucky, you can get... Sorry, I'm just reading the messages and carrying on with the replies. Overtalk TGR bolts. If the threads go inside, you can get away with a slightly longer bolt to go into the manifold. Other than that, it's drill it and tap it with and then stick another bolt in it. And I've gone off the page now. Ah, it's gone. There we go. Right, the wiring loom for the boot on a Giulietta. Good luck with that one. All the wires in the boot of a Giulietta are black. But luckily they are all different thicknesses. So yeah, if you can measure the thickness of each wire, rejoin them up with a longer bit of wire in there, it should be good to last you for a few more years. Do I know David Orange? No, I don't. I know a Jason Orange from Take That, but that's about it. Hello in Amsterdam. Mito 1.4, yep, good cars. Perfectly fine engine, the 155, it is quite reliable, and you don't have the multi-air issues. But like all of them, I think you do suffer with gearbox problems. Haven't touched my GTA yet. I haven't had any time to do anything on my own cars. Ever since I've started YouTube, I have very little time to work on my own stuff. I would love to be able to get my GT V6 finished, but I can't find the time, unfortunately. And also my GTV V6, when I rebuilt the engine, I chanced it with the starter motor, and the starter motor's packed up, so it won't even start at the minute. It'll push start, so I do need to do a video on changing the starter motor on a V6 with the engine in. So that should be fun. Just buy a GT with a twin spark engine in it, Grumpy Old Racer, because they made them. I wouldn't mess around with swapping an engine over. That wasn't in that car as standard. Can you swap from a 2 litre in a 2001 and a 1997 16 valve? Yes, you can, sort of, but you're going to be missing a hole for a temperature sensor on the block. You can whittle about with the wires to get the temperature sensor working inside the car by using the temperature sensor on the thermostat. Just purchased a JTS GTV. Yes, never put the wrong oil in it and never let the oil get low. The new Giulia, I do like the new Giulia. I just can't bring myself to buy one. I think when I test drove one, I couldn't fault it in any way. It was great, but I just couldn't bring myself to spend £35,000 on an Alfa. There are more cars out there I want at that value. Unfortunately, yes, I love the QV Giulia, but unfortunately it's out of my price range. Thank you, Zodark1993. Love you all for watching. Dean Warren, GTAs, they're great cars, but they do demand a lot of TLC. I've got an upcoming video about a GTA. Very sad story for the customer. Some of you may have seen it if you're on my Patreon channel. That'll be coming up in a few weeks. What I'm going to try and do with my videos now, I'm going to try and get more of a series like this GTV I'm restoring now. I'm going to try and get that out of the way within 2 weeks before I start anything else. So I'm going to try and keep all the videos together so people don't lose interest. Can you convert a GTV from left to right hand drive? I wouldn't even want to entertain doing it because it's a lot of work. So we just buy one in the right level you want to buy, right side drive. Alfa GTV, love them to pieces. I had one years ago that spent many years sitting off the road, and I wanted to restore it, but I just didn't have the time, so I sold it. So if another one ever comes up, I will restore one. I was saying to somebody the other day, what I do want to try next on the channel is a Fiat Barchetta. They were only in the UK in left-hand drive, and they are getting quite rare, and they are starting to go up in value now. But they do suffer from the good old tin worm. So I would like to get one of those and restore one of those. Also, I wanted one when I went to the motor show in London, probably back in 1996. And I saw one there and loved them. And then they had one in a dealer in '98. I was only 18. Yeah, no, I was 20 in 1998. And I wanted to buy one then, but I came away with a Punto Sporting instead. Good luck finding the washer jets for a 156. They're impossible. I don't think any 159s are all desirable, Nicholas Gibbons. I don't think they ever made anything that was super desirable. Yes, the TIs are nice. Yes, they're nice to drive, but will they ever be a desirable car? No, I don't think so. That's what put me off, was the whole hairdresser and left-hand drive. I just couldn't do the left-hand drive thing. But I would happily do it now for a Dodge Challenger. But I wouldn't have a clue what the insurance would be on a Dodge Challenger in the UK. Dirk, rear wiper on your Giulietta will probably be down to the fact your wires are starting to break, so you need to repair your wires in your boot loop. Do you work on Lancias? No, I don't. Intake off GTV V6s just buy the upgraded silicone ones from another Alfa specialist. Hi Muzmuk, see you commenting an awful lot on my videos. Welcome to the live chat. Yeah, in America, the Dodge Challenger I rented, it wasn't that unthirsty. It was pretty economical. I think I could get, I was getting 23 out of it as an average. And when I went on the interstates, you could get up to 30, plus to 30. So they weren't really uneconomical, but that was just the 3.6 Pentastar engine. You know what? I'm not a hater of diesel Alfas. Diesel engines are perfectly fine in cars. They have a purpose. Grumpy Old Racer, GT 1.8 twin spark engine. Are they reliable? Yes, it just all comes down to, are they looked after? With the twin spark engines, you need to keep that oil clean. And if you keep the oil clean, you shouldn't have any problems with it. Yes, I think my second highest viewer, Stephen Eel, is Australia. Australia and Sweden, I think, is one of the most popular countries that view my videos. And the UK is the main one. USA is in there as well, which surprises me, considering they don't have any of the Alfas over there. Voyager, you can't find a clean 145. Well, you can buy my yellow one if you want, because that's not getting used anymore. That is now tucked away in the corner of my unit with a cover over it. Mika, I don't see many driver seats brake. You normally find the passenger seats brake first because they're the ones that use the least and the cable seizes up. Hello Lee in Florida, we know you, don't we? Yeah, the TS doesn't sound bad, to be honest, Riser. The TS is a pretty good sounding engine. Hi MMJJBB from Australia. Dario Rakovac says, are strong flex parts on the upper control arms worth it? No, because the ball joint wears out and you can't replace the ball joint, so just replace the upper wishbones in one piece. I wouldn't bother going for the Powflex bushes or strong flex. BCO about chipping a 15619 diesel. If you want to get a tuning box, I'd buy a tuning box for it because they are quite cheap, but I wouldn't pay for a remap on them. Top 3 Alfa 147 modifications. I wouldn't say there are any modifications, I'd say it's maintenance more than anything. I'm not really into the modifying of cars. I've never have been. I like my cars to be authentic. There's some modifications on the GTA which are a necessity, like the Q2 diff, upgrading the anti-roll bars, upgrading the suspension to make it handle better, but modifications as such, I'm not your guy to come to for modifications, unfortunately. I've now forgot what your question was, Mika. Did I fix it or buy a new one? I don't have a clue what that was now. P. Dophil, your steering wheel is slightly off centre. I would say get your tracking done again because they haven't tracked it with the steering wheel being straight. You can't, depending on what car it is, you can't just take the steering wheel off and put it on straight. Getting low on my gin, I'll have to get something else soon. But I have got me cider. Red leather driver's seat. You can buy the matched colours on eBay now for doing touch-ups on your seat. They come in a little pen. I think they cost about a tenner. I bought one a few weeks ago to put on a black leather GTV seat, and it was a pretty good match. Should really do a video on some seat repairs, but not got around to that yet. Ian Hargrove, what's the story of my red 155 in the corner of the workshop? I bought that car about 6 years ago. Bought it from a guy in Wales. It had had a lot of the welding done to it. I think it was probably pretty much a daily when I bought it. It was still in use. I got it back to the unit. It had a cooling problem. I redid the whole cooling system, radiator, had to take everything off, clean everything out because it had all been furred up with years of not using the right coolant. Got it all ready for an MOT. Never ended up taking it really. It sat in the corner. It needed some body work. There wasn't enough value in it for me to finish off repairing it. So it's one of those cars that I'm waiting to go up in value because of the 90s touring car heritage. I think a 155 will be the next one to go up in value. And the 145 because I love the 145s. Who's next? Who's next? Who's got something interesting to say? Which Alfa do I have? Which Alfas don't I have, Dirk? I have got a GTV V6, 2 Alfa 145s, GTA 156 Sport Wagon, the 155, Fiat Coupe, and I have just bought a 147 GTA, but that will be getting sold. And the Fiat Coupe's going to get sold as well. And the blue 145, because I've got far too many cars. I need to narrow them down so I can buy something a little bit different to repair on the channel. What's the best handling 196? As standard, the twin spark's the best handling. The V6 front end lump does take away some of the joy of going around corners because it's heavy. GJ lost me. Just replace it with the correct fuel sensor on a diesel fuel filter. Just replace it with the correct one. They're not expensive. TRW parts are perfectly fine. They are probably the better brand to get out of all of them. I did actually fit some berth front wishbones to a car yesterday, and they're okay, but the fitment isn't the best. It's very easy to double thread them when you're fitting them, so I am actually going to move over to TRW. Kuba, Julietta 2-litre diesel is his first car, he's 20, any problems? Other than the EGR cooler, gearbox issues, keep it serviced, keep the cam belt up to date, you shouldn't have any problems with it. They are probably one of the most reliable Alfas out there that are now getting on a bit anyway. UK vehicle taxes are getting too high. How can you afford to keep them on the road? I don't keep them all on the road. That's the simple answer to that. I only have my Jeep as my daily. I have my... Oh, I forgot to tell you about that. My other daily, which is sort of a weekend car. And I've got the 145 tax and MOT at the moment, but I am going to sort that. Every time I get in my 156 GTA, I want to tax and insure that because I love that to pieces. It's a really nice car. I just hate it being silver. Musmuck, you're considering buying a car for your girlfriend. You'd like a reliable petrol engine and she's not too much into cars. I think you are limited for that. If you want a little car for her, that's going to be cheap to insure. I would say go for an Abarth all day long. 595 Abarth. Petrol filter on the TS. The 145s, they have a carbon canister underneath the front right wing. That is technically the fuel filter on it. And the older ones, they had a canister filter which is underneath the car up by the subframe at the back. Alex Wilkinson, most common issues on the 3-litre 24 valve engine. They are fairly robust. Your main problems, oil leaks, wiring loom problems to the spark plugs and injectors, and lack of servicing. That's another major problem they suffer with. They like their oil changed regularly. Silver with fading paint. A silver car with fading paint. That's unusual. Craig Scott. Brothers VW has been flawlessly reliable. Yes, it's probably been flawlessly reliable, but it does not have a soul. I have driven all of them out there, and the only cars, modern cars that have soul at the minute, is the Abarth 595 Competizione. Six-speed gearbox. Yes, the diffs can explode on the V6 gearboxes. I have no idea, Knight Rider, what that MPG means, because I'm in England and we don't deal with that. We deal with MPG and miles per hour. What engine did the 159 Ti really deserve? I think it got the engines it deserved. The 1.9 diesel and the 2.4 diesel are pretty much the only two engines I would recommend. The 2 litre engine, yes, I recommend that too, but there's more 1.9s and 2.4s out there, so they're cheaper to buy. For the benefits of having the 2 litre, you're better off just having the 1.9. Appy One Full. I have swapped my 1.6 for a 2 litre engine, but still using the 1.6 software. You will be getting some benefit from it, but you would be better off getting a 2 litre ECU fitted to it, and then you will get all the proper power then, and it will deliver it properly. I'm not saying I wouldn't say I wouldn't recommend the TBI engine. You pay a premium for the TBI engine, and I don't think that engine is worth the premium you pay over the diesels. Uh, 1.4 twin spark. Sorry, I've never ever dealt with a 1.4 twin spark. They were never in the UK. Franco, what car are you talking about? I don't have a clue. I can't remember that far back in the messages. Oh, I've just noticed I've been donated £11. Thank you very much for the people that have done those donations. If I haven't answered your message, I do apologise, because they're flashing by that quickly. I can't answer them. So if you do want to donate and make my day, please donate. What's the average insurance for a Spider or a GTV? They are a classic car now, so I would pay no more than £150, £200 for one, being the age you are. That's all I paid for my 145, so I wouldn't expect it to cost any more for that. All depends on where you live and your claims and stuff like that. Why do they use so much oil? If you're talking about twin spark engines, they tend to lose oil through the valve seals. That can be one of the reasons why they use them, but it's just built into the design of the engine for them to use engine oil. I've stopped moving. The tolerances on a lot of engines vary, so a lot of manufacturers recommend an amount of oil usage, but some engines don't use any, some engines use loads. It's just when they've been put together in the factory, there's slight minute differences, and it makes the car use more oil. Rick's Garage, £170 comp for your GTV. That's a good price to pay. Anything on classic insurance that's not, massively powerful or massively overvalued, I would say £150 to £250 is what you should be paying for classic insurance in the UK. Michael Stanley, is it a good decision to stop making the Mito in the UK? Yes and no. It's an awkward one on that one. I am a fan of the Mito. The Mito is far too old in its current form, and it needed a major update. Alfa do need a small car, but they have decided to go the other way. So I think a lot of people shouldn't be looking at Alfa for their small cars now. They'll be looking to Fiat in the future. And that's why everybody should go out and buy an Abarth, because they're awesome. Your 1.8 when it's cold, when it heats up and ticks, that is probably your exhaust manifold expanding and contracting. That's probably why it's ticking. Very worst cases, you've got a very small crack in your manifold. That's why it ticks. Thank you, Antonio. Thanks for watching. Juliet, is it worth upgrading? No, because they're not that vastly different. Steve Trevitt asks, is it worth upgrading from a 2011 Giulietta to a 2014? No, because the only real difference is a little bit of kit on the inside, and you get the really, really tiny infotainment screen. So I would say probably not on that one. Ian Hargrove, Mito power steering not working. That's because the ECU on the power steering is misbehaving, and you need to send it off and get the torque sensor replaced. Guy Osberg, can I do a clutch and flywheel tutorial on a GT? If you bring the car into me and pay me to do the change, yes, I will gladly do a video. Sorry, Rice, I didn't see what you said before that. Thank you, Steve Trevitt. Comments have gone quiet. Yeah, I've been going for 36 minutes now. I'm doing well. Slight rattle and shut off from a 1.5 from a V6. It could be many things. It could be a loose heat shield or anything like that. I wouldn't be too worried about it. I would get underneath it and check it out. Right, ticking. Yeah, I can't remember. Sorry. Oh, it's gone now. It's gone. Does the Giulietta 75 have an EGR valve? Not that I can think of. You have an old GTV V6. Good stuff, Guy. Come on, that's a lovely car. I do really appreciate those. Kuba, should the GT automatically close their windows when you push the button? Yes, they should. You may have a problem with the control module inside the door. Happy one full. You need to change the control module, the ECU, and the chipping your key over to get all that working from a 2-litre ECU. So remember that one. Best tyres for Giulietta, I always rate Kumho's. Kumho's are really good budget tyres. Yeah, if you want to spend on the Michelin then or the Goodyear, then go for it. It's personal preference for all tyres. It depends on your budget. I would just definitely stay away from used tyres or budget tyres. David Fairley, 2.4 injectors are stuck. You can get an injector removal tool with a slide hammer. You have to take the top of the injector off, screw onto the top of the injector, and you can pull it out with the slide hammer. But the only problem is then you may unseat your injector, so when you put it back together again it won't run right, so you'll need to get your injectors reconditioned or stick another one in. Yeah, Apple 1.4, you can decode ECUs nowadays, but I've never dabbled with that yet. Having a ready supply of used parts does help. It means I can just swap the parts over without having to worry about getting stuff decoded or ordering new parts when it comes to ECUs. That was a good thing with the 200,000 mile Brera. I'd got a Brera there with the same engine. So I just ripped everything off that while it was there, straight into the new car, fired up, job done, gone. There we go, wandering down. Yeah, I do. I'm doing okay. I've got my Thatchers now, so we'll be all right. What do I think of the Alfa Romeo JTS GT? I'm not a fan of any JTS engine. They were a rush job to be brought to the market, and you're better off just having a twin spark or a diesel engine. Would I take an apprentice on? No. You can come and make me a cup of tea by all means, but I don't think I would ever take an apprentice because I enjoy working on my own too much. If I ever get to the point where I'm too busy, I would probably take on a mechanic that knows more than me, so I can take a little bit of a back seat and concentrate more on doing YouTube content. Oh, we've got a serious one here. We're talking about flights to and from China. Should we ban flights to and from China during the coronavirus? Yes, I think we should have banned flights a long time ago, but the tour operators are far too greedy and they wouldn't do that. Richard Barrett, is water sitting behind your scuttle panel and the drain seems to be blocked? If it's a 159, just get a long bit of wire and just poke it down the drain and it should free it up. I have done a video on that, so if you search back through my videos, you will see that. I had 2 gins, I'm not that drunk yet. I hope everybody else is having a drink with me. Machinery and electrical services. 916 Spider TS 2000 WH. How do I know if it has auto drop windows? Well, when you open the door, it should drop by a couple of millimeters. 2000-year cars were not fitted generally with auto drop until 2001, but it is a retro fitment that you can do on it. Do I have a football team? No, I don't have time for any sports. When I was younger, I used to follow American football. Used to be a favourite of the Washington Redskins. I went to go see them live at Wembley when I was only young. I was only probably about 8, and I love that. Never really been into football. I do watch the World Cup and the European, whatever you call it. But that's the only time I watch football, and it's mainly for an excuse to go drinking down the pub with my friend. Used to watch Formula 1 back in the Nigel Mansell and Michael Schumacher days, but it got too boring for me. But my friend is obsessed with Formula 1. He makes Formula 1 games, so his life just consists of Formula 1. And he has met all the top racing drivers, and he does travel around the world seeing all these different race circuits as well, which is quite a jammy side. Has business been affected? Yes, it has been affected, but I'm lucky because I have got a few long-term jobs in at the minute. So I am quieter, but hopefully I've got enough work for the next few weeks anyway. 147 key fob no longer works. They're a pain in the backside. Take it apart and check for any dry solder joints. And I'm glad you're drinking too. That is not a Yamaha amp. Is it a Yamaha amp? Yes, it's a Yamaha amp. It's a Bluetooth receiver, so I can play my music in here. Hamish Dunham, do I like working on the 105 series? I don't get much chance, unfortunately. I don't see them very often. I tend to work on sort of 95 to 2010 cars. What do I think of the Alfa 4C? I think it's a very good car, very underrated. Yes, it's got its faults, but it's far too expensive because of the carbon fibre chassis. Hi Chris, welcome from Florida, my favourite place in the world. Next time I'm over there, you'll have to give me a shout. Peter Alexander is thinking selling his 147 and getting a GT. They are pretty much the same car, but the GT does have the better chassis. Craig Scott, I haven't watched American football. I tell a lie, I think I watched about 20 minutes of it last year. And I still understood all the rules and everything how it worked, so I was quite enjoying the 20 minutes, but I think I fell asleep. Is the GT V6 a good buy as a future classic? No, a GT V6 is seen mainly as a parts car for GTAs because GTAs are so much more valuable. For what you can sell a GT V6 for, you can only buy an engine for to go into a GTA. So GT V6s are going to become rare, because they are all being killed left, right and centre for parts for GTAs. Best rear-wheel drive Italian car. The only one I can really say I've driven in rear-wheel drive has been a 75 Alfetta GTV and the new Giulia. The only one I would say I enjoyed is the new Giulia. The seating position in the Alfetta GTV is horrible. And I'm just not a huge fan of the Alfa 75, but I can see why people are. Good one having a beer with me as well in the Netherlands. Your rear wiper motor has a mind of its own in a 159. Never really dealt with many problems with wiper motors. I have sold a few, but never really fixed any wiper motor problems. Would I like to buy the big Alfa than the 166? No, I do. They're okay, but I'm not a huge fan of the 166s. Little Fiat Panda 100 HP, perfect little cars, nice and reliable, and reasonably quick for how much they weigh. Two-seater Roadster for 5 to 7k. I can't really comment on Roadsters, to be honest. I don't tend to fit in Roadsters that often. The mini little drop coupe thing, they're okay. They just haven't got much soul. So if you're looking for soul, you're not going to find that in a mini, unfortunately. Dusty bottle of Drambuie, Hamish. Yes, get that on the go. It surprises me, Alex, the amount of people that have owned a Sud. Considering how many are left now, I think most of people that come into my workshop always say my dad or someone in my family had an Alfa Sud. Always followed by, and it rusted to pieces. So I think that's why we don't see them many nowadays. But my friend down at Alfa Ragazzi, he restored a bright yellow Bumblebee one. Matt A, is it worth upgrading the front bushes on a 159 Ti when the originals have worn out? No, just buy decent quality upgrade parts, not upgrade parts, standard parts, and they will last you just as long. The problem with upgrading to the polyurethane bushes is you can't upgrade the ball joints, and the ball joints wear out. So without a ball joint, you've still got to mess around with removing the non-Powerflex bush from the new ball joint. So I wouldn't. Well, I don't see the point in entertaining that. Yes, they are old dust now. The good old Suds. I've had too many drinks now to comment on gearbox faults, sorry. No, never worked on motorbikes at all. When I used to work for the RAC, I always dreaded going out to motorbikes because I didn't have a clue, didn't know how to hold them, didn't know how to work on them. Other than a flat battery or a faulty spark plug, I didn't have a clue. Powerclicks has just purchased a Giulietta Relief. Congratulations. Is it normal for the engine to run quite loud? I would check for an exhaust leak. 33 Cloverleaf, lovely, yep, nice cars. But yes, the 70s and early 80s Alphas did suffer with electrical gremlins. Unfortunately, it has stuck with Alphas ever since. Terry Seal stiff gearbox change on an M32 gearbox. Yeah, change the gearbox cables, they are common for seizing up. Larry Sign, where did you used to work, Larry, the RAC? I've left probably over 10 years now. Stu Hollyhead, yes, I've had 2 people querying me about the coupe. Hopefully somebody will pay me to finish it off and then I can sell it to them. That's what I would like to do. Nice to meet me. How serious is a squeaking clutch area? Hang on. A squeaking clutch, it can just be a failing clutch plate or thrust bearing. Greetings, Power Kicks in Poland. M32 gearboxes, I'd never take them apart, but yes, there are a lot of problems with them. The 2.4 gearbox is a lot stronger, and I do believe you can fit them with a few modifications like drive shafts and clutch and flywheel. Newcastle, so probably, yeah, I probably never met you then because you were going to be in a totally different area to me, Larry. When I worked at the RAC, I started working over Coventry. And then within 12 months, I moved to working around the West Midlands, up where I live. What's the weirdest thing I saw? It's the white GT. What's the weirdest thing I ever saw when repairing an Alfa? It was the white GT, and it was the expanding foam holding the headlights in. Why did I settle with Alfas? I started off with Fiats. My first brand new car was a Fiat Punto Sporting, 1998 car, and I loved it. I think I had it for nearly 2 years. It was a cracking little thing, and then I sort of naturally moved from Fiats to Alfas. I had a 1999 156 2-litre twin spark in Burgundy with the sport trim, and that's what got me hooked. After that car, I had a few years off. I had a Fiat Marea, and I had a Mondeo ST24, and then pretty much after that, I've been back onto Alfas. So since pretty much 1999, I have owned an Alfa at some point or another. Yeah, Larry, I trained at Bescott as well. I remember getting my van brand new and then spending the whole evening fitting all the tools that I were given into the van and tidying it all up, making sure it was all neat and tidy. I could probably say for the last 10 years I've not missed working for the RAC one single bit. If I had to do it again, I wouldn't go to the RAC, I'd probably go to the AA. If I could change car manufacturers, who would I like to work with? To be honest, Alfas are what I know and Fiats are what I know, so moving into something else now, I don't know whether I'd enjoy it as much, because I'd have to learn so much. My Punto Sporting was the light metallic blue that you never saw very often, and I love it. If I could find another one in that colour, I would snap it up, and I would gladly refurbish a Punto Sporting or a Punto GT if anybody wants to find me one. Hang on, I'm getting a bit behind there. Well, you need to take your wife to a bath and get her to try a bath. She would gladly have one of those. Will this live thing be a regular thing? It depends on whether it's fun. At the minute, I'm enjoying myself. So I'll probably do one every few months just to have a bit of catch up with you guys. Gearbox upgrade on a 2.4 20 valve. I understand that the Fiat Coupe turbo gearboxes will fit onto a 2.4 20 valve, so I would look into that. Not 100% sure, but see if that works. Stuart Hollyhead, after the Punto, I wanted a Bravo HGT. I drove all the way from where I live up to Liverpool to look at a white one, and it was an absolute dog. And I'm glad I never bought it, because they're renowned for being super unreliable, and that's why there are probably none of them for sale at the moment anywhere in the UK. Actually, let's have a little look. Right, okay. Auto Trader. Fiat. Bravo or Bravo? I can't remember now. No, none for sale on Auto Trader. Let's have a look on eBay. Oh, spelled it wrong. And there are no HGT for sale anywhere. So yeah, nobody loves those. Brera 20 valve turbo. I don't think they made the turbos in the UK. Multi-ECU scan is what I use all the time for my diagnostics. Yes, I should really purchase the expensive £1,000 a year software, but multi-ECU scan does everything I need to on the cars I work on. Because I don't work on the newer stuff, I can get away with multi-ECU scan. Should really try to get them to sponsor my videos, shouldn't I really? Ever worked on Strada or Botham? No, I haven't, unfortunately. It's pretty much just Alfas that I worked on, where I would gladly work on anything of the Alfa Fiat Bath era now. BCO, no, there weren't any cross wagons sold in the UK, but there are a few over here that have been imported. I wish you still had your Monte Carlo too, because it's a lovely car. But yes, I've not had chance to do a video on my new car yet, because the weather has been so shit since I've had it. Excuse my language. I've now got an Abarth 595 Competizione, and I absolutely love that to bits. It's totally mental, totally impractical, but all of its faults, it's got far too many positives. So I definitely recommend those to anybody. And I will eventually do a video on them once the weather gets better and the lockdown has disappeared. I'm not sure on the Fiat Coupe 20-volt gearbox. I do remember seeing some threads on it on the Alfa owners forum, so have a look on there and you should be able to find some more out on whether a turbo box will fit in your diesel. Jack, behave yourself. Stop being naughty for your dad. Michael T, will multi-ECU scan sort an error out for a passenger window? It won't sort the error, but it'll point in the right direction of what's wrong with it. Pinch protection and stuff like that, it's normally a faulty sensor, or the window switch is faulty itself, or a low battery. Yeah, Mike Watt on the rear wiper motor fault will probably be the lube. No, Stu, never had one of those in. Craig, I'd have to look at how much they are, but I'll be guessing around about 120 quid, something like that, for a rear brake change on a GTV. You got an issue with your Fiat Bravo TJ? It's got a whistling, windy noise, wearing turbo or an air leak. That's what's going to be a problem with that. Opinions on the Punto GT? I love them to bits. They just were never fast enough for a 1.4 turbo. They should have had more power as standard. But yeah, I do love the Punto GTs, and they will be a classic car. Stilo Abarth, just write that off and put that in the bin. Yeah, I speak to other Alfa specialists all the time. We constantly phone each other if we're stuck on a vehicle, and sort of phone diagnose everywhere. Yeah, we all tend to get on, as far as I'm aware. Good, I'm glad he liked that, Rick. I like that, shocked him anyway. Cheers, Craig. The interior of more 2010 Giulietta seems to make creaking noisy when climbing on curbs. It's probably going to be your lower wishbone's worn out. Oh, sorry, your interior. I don't know with that one. It's going to be a creaky seat or something like that, probably. Supra, he's interested in getting a 20-valve turbo coupe. They are brilliant cars. You know, don't get a barn find. Don't get one that says it's mint without the condition photos to back it up, because they are very demanding in the maintenance department, because they do have several regular faults. But you buy a good one, or you've got a good specialist, they are a very good car to buy. Petrol, diesel, auto, manual, it depends on the car. My Jeep, I love my manual. Manual. I love my automatic in my Jeep because it's such an amazing gearbox. You can just jump in it and you just cruise everywhere. But in the Abarth, I would want a manual because it's the best way to drive a car. If you want to have feeling and control, manual gearbox is the best. And don't ask me about silly speed gearboxes because I hate them. Flynn, your gear linkage is probably broken in your gear stick. So pull the leather gaiter off and have a look for brakes there. Larry, do I watch Car Wizard? No, I sometimes watch Hoovy's Garage. But what does my head in about all these big people on YouTube is they have a new car every week and they are doing far too much on Lamborghinis, and it does my head in. I'm very, very honest, and I don't earn the money they earn, so I wouldn't. Even if I did earn the money they earn, I wouldn't be as flamboyant with my cars. I would still be doing the cheaper end of the market because that's what I love. No, I wish I knew somebody who did floor repair panels for most cars, not just bar shutters. I'm Stu. I miss my 156 GTA Saloon, but I have got another one now, so that's okay. I do wish I hadn't sold my Alfetta GTV. Yep, selling speeds are awful, and I wouldn't recommend anyone buy them at all because nobody knows how to repair them. No one can get parts for them, so just let them die and go to history. Hubnut rings a bell. I've probably watched some Hubnuts. I do like watching Sam Crack. I like Sam Crack because he's purely an amateur, and you see him make mistakes, and that's funny because you can see him gonna make. You can see he's gonna make mistakes. So he's quite humorous watching him. But I don't like his the way he advertises his stuff. But we've all got to earn money, and I love what he did with the Sam Crack did with the Domino's pizza cars. That was fun. I also enjoyed him repairing his RS7, Audi RS7. The highest one I've come across that I've worked on is probably going to be the 200,000 mile per hour. That's the one that comes to mind immediately. And that actually wasn't as bad of a car as I thought it was going to be. Do I see many Julias on the road in England? Not as many as I'd like to see, but I do see them probably at least one every couple of days. The seat is from an Alfa GT. Have you ever done full restoration? Yes, my 145. I took that back to Bare Shell and did that full restoration on that. But that was before I did YouTube, so we never saw any of that on YouTube. You only saw the tail end of it. $158s, do you mean 159s, Chris? Where are you from? Where would you like them to be imported to? How much to respray a 916 bonnet due to stone chips in Vela Blue? You're probably looking about 300 quid because they're a big, annoying panel to paint. Stu, I forgot that far back. What have I got planned for you? Florida. Do you know what? That wouldn't be a bad business opportunity if I had a ready supply of left-hand drive cars. I would gladly be importing GT VV6s left, right, and centre to America if I could find a ready supply of left-hand drive ones. There isn't really any Alphas I hate working on. There's particular jobs I don't like doing. Clutch jobs can be a pain in the backside, especially when you're working on your own, getting a gearbox out and in. But there's not one particular Alpha I hate working on. I'm not so keen on working on 166s if I'm honest, just for the fact that getting parts, the unique 166 parts can be quite hard to obtain. 145 because it's more unique in the styling department. That's the one I prefer. Yeah, Chris, I thought you'd make 159s. Change both drive shafts on your 1590 Q4 Qtronic. I don't know with that one, mate. I'd have a look at that further. I couldn't tell you on that without looking at it. Oh, David Profits hit a nail there. Alpha's future. In all honesty, the way they're doing things, they're doomed. I would love for them to prosper and do really well, but every decision they make is 5 years too late. Yes, I watched the Grand Tour. If somebody put me in charge of Alfa Romeo, I think I could do quite well. Alfa Romeo are aiming themselves to be a premium brand, and I think they shouldn't be trying to be a premium brand. They should be aiming to just be above Ford, Vauxhall, Peugeot, coming just above them with the medium size and small size cars, and they will sell shit tons of them. Alfa probably will go like Lancia, yes. I don't want them to, but yeah. Have I got a full restoration planned? No, I haven't at the minute, but I have been toying with the idea of getting the Fiat Barchetta, and that would probably be a full restoration. But it's having the time to do stuff like, if somebody paid me to do a full restoration, yes, I'd gladly film it. But I don't have the time to do stuff like that now. GT Diesel, no, I don't think any car will be a future classic. Chris Butler owns a 2-litre Giulietta diesel. Is it worth cleaning the EGR valve at 108,000 miles? EGR valves do misbehave on the Giuliettas, but not as bad as the earlier diesels. It would probably benefit from a clean out, same as the manifold probably would do, but if you're not having any problems, I wouldn't rush to do that. Antonio said Alfa should advertise heavily like the Skoda. No, I think Alfa should produce decent cars in volume and cars that people want, rather than doing limited editions that are not affordable to 99% of the Alfa fans. They need to play to the cars what people want, not people who are earning £100,000 a year think they should do. Brera Rest Pro Drive, it's all to do with the four-wheel drive systems you look out for, because there's lots of problems with the prop shaft on those, but other than that they are just standard. I think springs and stuff can be quite expensive to obtain, but other than that they're not too bad. Alfa is a people's sports car, yep. Not much of a profit margin on anything really in cars, but I think volume is where the profit is. That's why people like, that's why Ferrari had trouble years ago, that's why Lamborghini had trouble, Aston Martin are having trouble now, TVR disappeared, Lotus have had trouble. They're all small car makers, and you need to be able to sell cars in volume. And you need to, it's not so much making money from the cars in the dealership selling them new, it's return visits with repairs and servicing. That's where dealers make money, and on the finance. I think at the minute Alfa's plan are to make the premium larger cars. Let them go that way. Let them go that way now, and let's see what happened with the Peugeot Fiat merger, and see what they can do with that. Because Peugeot have actually come on leaps and bounds in the last 10 years, so I'm hoping that we can get a nice car together, especially electric cars, because I think that is the future now. Fiat do only have one money spinner, and that is the 500, and they should take advantage of that. They should have many cars like Mini do based on the 500, and Abarth should make more cars based on that range as well. If Fiat did a slightly bigger version of the 500, not the 500e or XL or whatever they are, then that would go really well, because people want something a little bit bigger, which is Fiesta sized, whereas the Fiat 500 is sort of the super mini size segment. Dirk on about octane fuel, 95 and 98. I actually did this in my bath the other day. I did a few tanks of the higher rated octane, and other than in my wallet I saw no difference whatsoever, so I would recommend using the 95 still. Chris, I've owned many cars as an Alfa, Audis, BMWs, Mercedes, Fords, Fiats, and I'll appreciate anything if it's good. Hi Sean, I've been a bit bored today to be honest, that's why I decided to stream so much earlier in the day and I didn't let any of you know. When I started streaming, was it Thursday night? I didn't realise that I was streaming privately. I'm like, what's the point in being able to stream privately? So yeah, I was sitting here for 10 minutes just twiddling my thumbs, not doing anything. So I managed to figure it out and come on today and this is a surprise one, I didn't plan this. If I lived in France, yes, I could source probably loads of left-hand drive cars to import to the USA. But yeah, I think that could probably be a good business plan if we could get some people together. Some people who could find the left-hand drive cars, me to repair them, and SM70911 to import them. That would be great. Automatic gearboxes nowadays tend to be made by non-car manufacturers. They are made by like you get the Bosch injectors and stuff like that. They're made by gearbox companies, and the same gearbox is used in my Jeep as in the BMWs. So yes, they may use that gearbox. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. Thoughts on the MR2? I have no thoughts really. Yes, I wanted one when I was a teenager. Never ever owned one. I did drive a Mark III MR2, the cabriolet only one. I thought they were okay. Callum, best car for reliability. I can only base this based on when I used to work for the RAC, because I went out to all different types of cars. And the only cars I would say I could fix at the roadside because of either a flat battery or a wheel change were the Kia and the Hyundais. They were the most reliable cars out there. There were very few of them that I ever had to put on a tow truck. I could always bodge them in some way to get them going again and on their way. But they are the most boring of cars to own. I went the other week to look at some car showrooms because we're in need of something different for somebody we know. And we looked at the Kia Stonic. I'm like, what the hell of a name is that? It sounds like something you would pass through your bells. It is not a very good name, but the car itself was okay. It was cheap and plasticky, but it was okay. But the Ford Fiesta is the cheapest car to buy, so they went with the Ford Fiesta. Yeah, it's something we could talk about. If you live in France, yes, it all depends on what comes in America. Den Blaster taking the head off his 147 1.6 Ti. They're easy enough to do. They're not drastic. You don't kill the bottom end of the engine on the 1.6 like you tend to do on the 2 litre. Alfa Romeo, most reliable non-Japanese car according to what car? To be honest, I've always said most cars, no matter what you buy, are fairly reliable. I say most. If you maintain them well, if you give a car regular oil changes, it's going to behave itself. Or if you're buying a £500 rot box, it's probably not going to be reliable because you're not buying a car with the funds to maintain it. So a lot of people slate Alfa because they buy them when they're at the lower end of the market and they don't maintain them. I've never had an Alfa blow its engine. I've never had an Alfa with a major mechanical problem happen to me while I've owned it. And all I do is service them when they need to go ahead of when they're serviced. I like to say I would service a car every 8,000 miles. And even all these new manufacturers saying 20,000 miles, and no, oil can't last that long. It's easier to take the inlet manifold off and leave it at the back of the engine when you're removing the head. You're thinking of a weekend car, Chris. I don't have much thoughts on Alfa cars, to be honest. I should do. A weekend car. I looked at buying a Porsche Cayman S, like a 2008 one, but it just didn't rock my boat. I just didn't have the feelings for it like I had. That's why I ended up with the Abarth outside, because that's what I want. I want something I can drive the 7 miles to and from work and go mental as much as I want, and it's never going to get me in any trouble. So that's why I went for the Abarth. Fiat Coupes are going up in value. If you own a Fiat Coupe LE or one of the limited edition ones, they are demanding quite a premium in price at the minute. Maserati, I really like Maserati, and I would love the GT. But somebody who's friends with me on Facebook had a GT, and he quoted the prices it cost him to have a new clutch, and that put me off buying one. It was like 1,500 quid just for the clutch, and then another £3 to get it fitted. So I was like, yeah, no, thank you. I couldn't entertain that. Unfortunately, my wallet isn't that deep. If it's in good condition, the Fiat Coupe, I can't see why it's not worth €5,000 if it's a 20 valve turbo and it's in good condition. Dabina says, which is better, the 2 litre or the 1.9 JTDM? It goes by your budget. If you can afford the 2 litre, get the 2 litre. If you can't, get the 1.9, and it will do the same thing, and it's got almost the same power. I couldn't quote you on that one whether the GT has the same chassis as the 159. I would hope it hasn't. Why do I place most of the tools in the engine bay? Because that's where I'm working on the car, so that's where I need my tools to be. And it's also a nice handy shelf. It's one of the nice things about working on the GTVs. You've got the 2 side panels where you can put all your tools. I have actually got a wheelable trolley, but it's stuck behind the 155 in my tyre fitting machine. So that's where I should really have my tools, so I can be a little T-trolley and wheel it around the workshop. Hi Fat Boy, things are all good. Callum says, do I work alone? Yes, I work on my own, just me and my forklift. That's all I need. I don't need an apprentice, I just need my forklift. Hi Valo Kin, thanks for subscribing. I'm still only at £11 for the super chats. Come on, people. Not that I'm doing this for the money, but it's a nice way to spend my afternoon. The blue clover leaf is up for sale. Technically, it was sold, but because of the coronavirus, he's pulled out. So nothing of mine is technically for sale at the moment until all this is over, because I don't think there's any point. Hi Chang, thanks for stopping by. Not many 164 clover leaves around by me, unfortunately. An Alfa GT diesel for spares, I probably wouldn't pay more than a couple of £100 for one now. Every man and his dog is breaking them on their driveway, so I don't tend to break them very often anymore. Good show. Yep, use my video. I'll make sure I place plenty of ads in it for you if it's if it's going to keep you watching. Cheese Nuravali, I shall see you again sometime. I'm probably going to have to make a move soon myself, so I'll have another 5-10 minutes with you, and then I shall make a move. Yep, 155, me love 155s. Cheers, Chang, have fun. So what do people think about the new Tonale that's coming out? Andrew Young, the JTS engine The 2 litre JTS does like clean oil. You do get regular problems with them, but maintain it and it should be your friend. That's all I can say. Clean oil, regular servicing, and it should be good. Yeah, the toenail, yeah. I have deliberately done a little bit of research, went to Fiat and drove the new Fiat 500 Sport or whatever it was. I also drove the new Jeep Renegade, which it is based on. And yeah, don't expect much from the Denali if they're going to be using the engines that are available currently. Yes, then Blaster, you need to put new head bolts in because they are special head bolts which do expand when you torque them up. 75 1.6E. A lot of cars, people restoring them, you don't restore them for value, you restore them because you love them. So yeah, I wouldn't do it if you don't love it. Good stuff, Matt, on your 159 passing its MOT. Fuel smells on a Phase 1 GTV. It's normally the fuel seal, so take your fuel pump out and put a new fuel seal in and you should be good to go. Because of all the petrol interacting with the seal expands, starts to grow and it lets the gases out, so you need to have a new fuel seal. They're only about 10 quid, they're not expensive. They're just a pain in the backside to change. Going quiet out there. Everybody busy typing. You can get one shipped from the UK quite easily. They're only a lightweight fuel seal. That shouldn't be expensive to get shipped over. I think I've got one in my my drawer upstairs that I never fitted to the 145. How often should you service your steady speeds? The oil needs changing every 4 years, if you remember rightly. And the GTA, I'm not too au fait with the automatic gearboxes on the GTAs, as you will find out in an upcoming video. So yes, Alfa will unfortunately be, most car manufacturers will be SUVs only, to be honest, because that's what sells. Stuart Corbett, yeah, check your suspension out because that's what it's going to be. To locate suspension squeaks and niggles, can a WD-40, spray it on a single bush, take it for a drive, keep spraying it on each individual bush. When it goes away, that's your bush which is squeaking. So that's a hint for you DIYers at home to get rid of your squeaks. GTs do suffer with rust on the floor pan and the sills. That is pretty much the only two areas they suffer with rust. Good luck restoring the 33. Didn't think Peak Alpha was still going. I thought they closed down a couple of years ago. I have no issues with the new Giuliettas at all. I have driven all of the engines, all of the models, and if you like one, then buy one. They are perfectly fine. As it's going quieter now, I shall think I will call that a day in a couple of minutes then. If anybody has any final questions, get them in. The heads on twin spark engines are all the same apart from the camshafts, so use whichever head you want. Just please get it refurbished before you fit it. WD-40 does eat rubber bushes, but it will locate the squeak for you, and you can always clean it off afterwards. I still have the 939 Spider. It was sold. I have done all the things the customer requested to it. but I would assume because of this climate, I've not heard from him, so I'm going to hang on for it for a while. If he wants it, it's still his. If not, then it'll be up for sale again as soon as all this crap is over with. Hello, Azza. How are you doing, my matey? My favourite curry, I will eat anything, from the weakest of curries to the hottest of curries. I do not mind. Still repair panels for 916s. Yes, you can still buy them new. There is a company in Europe that sells them. I will have to find out what company they are, but I did find them and you can get them. It's an awkward one with what I do because my job is YouTube and YouTube is my job. So without one or the other, I couldn't do YouTube. So yeah, I will. I would like to probably stop doing the eBay side of things and the used parts because I hate eBay with a passion. They are just rob dogs and it's not fun. So I would like to just repair and restore cars, film what I do and pop it on YouTube. Yes, that would be lovely. The golden number for that seems to be around 40,000 subscribers. So yeah, we're 25% of the way there now. Tommy V, clutches in Giuliettas do tend to go quite early in their life, but 87,000 kilometres he would say is a little bit early. Yeah, so I've just had a super chat and it's just not for 6. Yeah, clutches on Giuliettas do tend to go early and they are expensive to replace, so you are good that you've had a new clutch. And thank you, Isace, for the donation. That's much appreciated. That's great for that. Thank you very much. Any Alphas from the 90s are pretty good, and the early noughties, to be honest. The GTVs don't tend to suffer with tremendous amounts of rust. Yes, they suffer from rust, but not anything like they used to. Yes, Peak Alpha. Yeah, I thought they went under a few years ago, but yeah, nice to know they're still going. I used to have dealings with them years ago, but I've not spoken to anybody there in a few years. Yeah, I've still got the new Blue Spider. I commented about that a few minutes ago. It's theoretically sold, has a deposit on it, but I've not heard from the customer in a few weeks, so I'm just waiting to see what happens with it. I do assume, because I know what career he does, things are tough at the minute, so I'm not forcing anything on anybody at the minute, because I know it's tough for everybody out there at the moment. Yes, I am quite partial to my yellow 145. I wish I loved it as much as I should do, but it is sitting underneath the cover in the corner of my unit now, and that's where it will probably sit for the next 12 months now, until next show season. 166 rust problems. Yes, the front radiator support rust is away, and that's pretty much it. Who do I support? I don't support any team whatsoever at all. I don't have time for sports, unfortunately. After the Corona's done, I would like to plan a road trip to Italy. I did plan one a couple of years ago. We'd got a group of us all ready to go through the Alpha Book community, but my friend decided it was its 40th birthday and we had to go to Vegas instead. So I went to Vegas instead. But I would like to do one. I would like to do one of the Banger rallies, buy a couple of £100 Alpha and go on one of those. I'm not overly keen on doing one of the expensive ones in the sports cars. It's just loads of pricks with money racing around. But I do really want to do one of the sort of Rush to Rome. I would like to do that. Thank you, Grumpy Old Racer, for your donation. That is much appreciated. Thanks for joining me here today. So you should have another video on Tuesday. It is already edited. I've just put the much hated music track on, and I'll just need to do a commentary for it now, and then I need to encode it and then upload it to YouTube. So that should be ready for Tuesday evening. And I'm still yet to film Friday's video. I don't come across many sprints at all now. Thank you, David Profit, for your donation. That's much appreciated. NSZ has a brake squeal from his Brembo calipers. They are clean and original pads and new rotors. Have you chamfered the edge of your pads off with a little bit of, I forget the word now, I want to say grinder, but it's not a grinder. Just chamfer the edge of the pads off and make sure that your pins are perfectly straight, because those pins are what the pad moves on. So if they're not clean and lubricated, the pads will stick against the caliper, against the disc, and squeal. I'm a fan of any engine oil as long as it's the right engine oil for that engine. Cool, yep. See you soon, Grumpy Old Racer. Thanks for joining us today. Yeah, pull the pads out, grease up the pins, chamfer the pads off, stick a little bit of brake grease on the rear of the pads and around the holes of the pads, and that should hopefully quieten them down for you. 156 Ti's are bottom of the market now. You don't have to overpay for any of those at all. If you can find a Ti, yep, go for it. But I wouldn't be paying a premium for them because there's not much market for them nowadays. Hi Nicholas, I'm good. A few drinks in and enjoying the chat with all you guys in here. Yeah, there's always one person that moans about the music, so I'm like, I'm fine, I can put up with that. I know music and me, myself personally, are not going to be to everybody's taste, but yeah, that's it. That's the way it goes. You need music on the videos or they get far too boring. Right, we'll have another 5 minutes and then I'm going to call it a day, because I'm either going to wee myself or not going to be able to speak. Callum, yeah, JTS engines do like to eat the lobes on the cams. That's purely down to oil circulation and not the right oil. Money no option. What Alfa would I drive as my daily? I'd drive a Giulia QV. That is one of the next cars I would like to own. If I do eventually earn a better wage through what I do, a QV would be my ideal desirable daily. No jobs with the oil cooler pipes on a 166, but you can just upgrade them like you can on all the other oil coolers. Philip Rowe, it depends on the colour and how bad the bonnet is. You're looking anywhere from 200 to 300 quid for a bonnet respray. Your messages probably are coming through, Cream Egg. I just can't answer every single message because they disappear before I can get to them. Yes, 159 Brumper will go on a Brera, a direct fit, but the grills and everything are different. I did that swap on the Brera repair I did last year. No, Nicholas, I wouldn't even attempt that. Just buy the right engine for the right car, because it's far too much effort unless you want to spend a lot of time doing it. I've not seen a 156 done into a 20 valve engine, but I have seen a GTV done. And there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to do an early 156 into a 20 valve engine. That should be possible. Hi Theodorus, thank you for watching. Yeah, you can change the engine, but it's so much effort. You're probably better off just spending the time and money repairing the body on a good 156 V6 than you are getting a decent shell. Do I offer? No, sorry, I don't have a courtesy car. I don't do any of that expensive insurance, unfortunately. I don't earn enough money to have a courtesy car, unfortunately. Fiat Coupe all day long. That's one hell of a pretty car. As I said in the video, that it's styled so well. The 159 is just a mundane saloon compared to a Fiat Coupe design. Right, well there we go. That's it for me now then. I am dying for the toilet, and I need to go and see my wife and children, make sure they're all okay. Thank you all very much for joining me, and thank you all for the donations. And as this one's gone so well, I shall join you again, probably again in a few weeks, to be honest, if this coronavirus thing's going on. So thanks you all for watching, and I shall see you all soon.